The webinar has started.
Yes, indeed. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. Welcome to Mind Types Not After Dark.
So you want to tell them what happened here, Lee? Okay, go ahead. Come on, spill the beans, man.
Yes,
It's all
so
good. We're among
somehow,
friends.
somewhere, today was supposed to be a Mind Types After Dark, but somehow we looked on our schedule and it wasn't a Mind Types After Dark. So we're having it Mind Types in the afternoon.
Because somebody was off kilter somewhere. Whatever, man. We'll see who shows up tonight and goes like, "Whoa, where is everybody? It's the second
Uh,
Tuesday, Thursday of the month. What's going on?"
There you
Anyway,
go. Well, everybody, welcome, welcome. If you want to get on the hot seat today, raise your hand and let us know. Otherwise, we'll have a rock and rolling afternoon of fun here with AI. So originally, before we talk about AI though, although this is going to be all about AI, I'll just spill the beans. One of your big roles for our company and this mastermind is to go and meet up occasionally with the top marketers of the world and bring back actionable stuff. So I know that, we had some time off with some traveling. Tell us where you've been. Tell us how your quarterly pilgrimage went and what's the buzz among the top marketers of the world.
so I spent the weekend in Las Vegas at Flight Club, one of the top digital marketing masterminds in the world. And to give you an idea of how ferocious this thing is, people come in from New Zealand, they fly in from Dubai, they fly in from Europe, they fly in. So, I mean, this is legitimately okay. The who's who of we think it's worth traveling halfway across the world to spend 3 days with this group of people to find out what's the latest, greatest, what's new, what's whatever, right? And so here's the good news. We got the good news and the bad news. The good news is that we're in the right place. We are way ahead of the curve when it comes to AI and what AI can do already and will be making much easier in the future. The bad news is it's so friggin' advanced and crazy that I can't explain this stuff. Okay. So all I can do is give you some thoughts to think about with the understanding that some of the guys that we saw were the futurists, the way ahead people. The number one buzz for sure is workflow automations. What can you automate in your business? What is the thing that you could uh, make be done by an agent so that it frees up your people? Projection being that in the future, a person who knows how to use AI, not how to code, but how to use the tool, will be 5 times more productive than one that isn't. 5 times. Because they'll be able to automate all over the place. So all they're doing is more thinking and
Mhm.
managing and strategizing. The mundane tasks that have to happen for every business are being fully automated. So simple things like one of my colleagues at there said, yeah, I know I had 81 pages of people who were potentially showing up at this event. So I just loaded it up into ChatGPT and I gave the prompt, hey, go through this entire thing knowing everything that you know about me since you've been trained on me and my business for a while and tell me all the people that I need to meet with and why. Boom, instant result. You need to meet with these 5 people because of this, and this. So simple to do that. Why in the world would you take the 81-page printout and go page by page by page looking at that stuff and speculating that, oh, wow, this person must be nice because their favorite song is also your favorite song? Really?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. But in terms of the workflow automation stuff, man, it was one of the guys, the probably the top super brainiac, said, look at your business and ask yourself, what is the one thing that moves the needle more than anything else to make you profitable and successful? Great. Now input it into this prompt to analyze that. Have this prompt develop an SOP for that one thing, then upload it into this other prompt to create the agent to do that for you. Okay, great. What is the one thing that is the hardest thing that you really are terrible at? Great. Use this prompt right here to develop an SOP about that thing. Put it in here to refine the SOP to create an agent to do that thing for you. Good job for this month. Next month, do it again. And you start
Right.
to see how your whole business becomes largely run by human intervention, guiding tools that do a better job than you would. And that was the biggest takeaway. It was one of those like, wow,
Yeah. Wow.
okay. And concepts of how fast things could be done. Websites being built in 10 to 12 minutes using lovable.dev, right? And if you can build one, you can have an agent build another one, right? You don't have to build the second one. You only have to do this is AI thinking. You only have to do the task once, create an SOP, turn the SOP into an agent, have the agent do it moving forward. And we're going to be talking a lot about this as the months move on, as I begin to somewhat understand it. Hubert already is way ahead of me, but I'm the guy that interprets what Hubert says, right, and gives it to everybody else. So if I
Well,
can understand it, then everybody else can. Hubert can understand it way before me. I don't care. I'm used to it. So, but
well,
you know what I'm
let's
saying?
stop for let's
This is
yes, let's stop for a teaching moment. So if you parse carefully what Rich Lee's been saying, he's been using the term AI agent. I just want to stop for a moment and make sure everybody understands the difference between an AI agent and an AI assistant. Okay, so up till now, we've really been teaching the creation of AI assistants. So what's the difference? An AI assistant would be, and we use these in our business all day long, and they're they're creations that rely on prompts and knowledge uh, articles and PDFs and so forth that you upload, and you train the assistant on a body of knowledge. Then you ask it to help you do things depending based on its training. But the AI assistant is reactive. You treat it like an assistant. You say, hey, let me go here to my AI assistant and let me say, oh, give me a blog post for this and make it about that and all of that. And it saves you a lot of heavy lifting in producing it. An AI agent, and largely AI agents are still not readily available for normal everyday use. Those of us on the bleeding edge, we're playing with it now. But agentic AI or AI agents, the difference is that you train it and you empower it to do things proactively on your behalf. Now, it could be a little scary, meaning you can ask it to create a blog post. And notice I say not write a blog post for me to go and put on my blog. You can have an AI agent understand what your username and password is for your website, and then have it go and do the whole writing, checking, and publication of it on your behalf on a schedule that you set in advance, so that we know that next week an email goes out or a blog post goes out. Now, originally, it's a little scary because this is being done for you. Yes, you create the parameters, by which this thing operates, but it's operating autonomously. So for those of us that like control, it does require a little leap of faith. But once you try it a couple of times and you say, "Well, this is actually not bad," that's the way of the future. So originally, probably saw some demos of some AI agents and that sort of thing in use. What did you see originally out there?
okay. So describe the process, Hubert, to making your website email friendly, including, pick one, SPF, a DMARC, whatever you want. Explain a little bit what
Right.
that is to everybody.
Sure. So email deliverability is not a given. Okay, so many of you have software out there, such as Aweber or MailChimp or whatever you have, that lets you collect email leads and you create campaigns and you send out marketing campaigns, email campaigns, and so forth. And for those that do that, the number one challenge is ensuring deliverability into the inbox, right? Not not making it past the ISP filters is a big deal. Not making it into the inbox is a big deal. And there are settings that you can tweak at your domain name level. So wherever you own your domain name, you can create certain records in your domain name, such as like you know, a DMARC validation record, a DKIM record, an SPF record, and it sounds gibberishy because it is gibberishy, and you need to look up the technical aspects and all of that. And prior to what Ridgely is about to explain, like this is esoteric knowledge that is usually not available to the normal business owner. And certainly they wouldn't be able to do it on their own. I mean, I can because, this is kind of like what we do, but we do it on behalf of clients. But originally, you saw a demonstration of a different approach?
Yeah, the guy, so one of these super geniuses is watching an email expert explain the need for SPF, DMARC, and what's the other one? There's three of them that you got to have dialed in.
Yeah, DKIM.
Okay, DKI, right. All these things dialed in. And he was not an email expert at all. He was an AI expert. And so the dude is doing this, just watching this presentation, boop, beep, 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 doing this whole thing, right? And the next day, he starts off his presentation by saying, "Hey, remember yesterday when Nick did that great presentation on the email deliverability and why the DKIM and SPF and DMARC and all you have all the stuff dialed in?" Well, I was watching that whole thing, and as he's talking, I'm just typing into my AI agent producer, whatever it is, which is some produced product. I think he had in Claude. Um, and so, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what happened. And he hits click to show what had happened. He recorded it the day before, and all of a sudden the whole screen just lights up, and code is flying down the right side of the screen, and that is going here, and it's got this all this stuff, blah 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 blah, and it's going down, and it's scrolling for I don't know 15 pages worth of scrolling of code and stuff like that. And he said, "Thanks, Nick. Done. My email's now fully. My email deliverability is fully dialed in thanks to you. Had an AI agent do it for me." I mean, like, dude, you remember people were charging like $15,000 to do this for a client.
Right, exactly. And so what must have happened behind the scenes, and I wasn't there and I didn't speak to the person, but he must have listened to the email deliverability expert, understood the rules of what needs to be done, and then he created an AI agent and told it what to do and gave it permission to go into his GoDaddy or whatever to actually make the DNS changes. And he took the leap of faith and actually had it done, right? And so my lesson for this is as excited as we all are about the power of I want to remind you of something, all of you, of something that keeps you firmly in the driver's seat. Okay. So originally, just because a 25-year-old walks up to you and says, "Oh, I know how to do AI automation and I can set up workflows and everything else." Okay. Don't assume that this kid is the savior to your business because what does he have that you don't have? The understanding of the AI agents and how to do it. But what do you have that he doesn't have? An understanding of your business and what moves the needle. In this case that you talked about, that AI automation ace was stuck until he knew what needed to be done. And he used AI to implement that. But that knowledge about what needs to be done in each of our businesses, I'm looking at the list of panelists here, I mean, participants here originally, every one of them is an expert in their own niche. And
Mhm.
what's in your head can be leveraged to an incredible degree by these AI tools. But that knowledge of what buttons to push or what rules to put into the AI agents, that's what like the business owner will always maintain.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that I also saw was thinking. Like, how do you start constantly thinking, what could AI do to help me automate this? Is there any repetitive task that happens that I could create an agent for? And I'm trying to find out if this guy has a coaching program or a mastermind. I have not heard back from him yet. I pinged him by a text a couple hours ago. Um, because if there is, I want to join. I want to see how he's gotten so good at doing this that he runs this very large organization. You know how many employees he has?
How many? Three. Right.
Three, three, three. And all day long, Fortune 100 companies are coming to this guy to help them with their AI programs. Now, he refuses to deal with the corporation, by the way. He'll only deal with the middleman because he doesn't like the bureaucracy of these big, huge. He's like, no, if you're the marketing company for the big Fortune 100 company, you come to me, I'll fix what you need to fix them. But I'm not dealing with them directly. You pay me.
Right. There you go. Now, um, that scenario that you mentioned, that languaging, I just want to call it out because I see it now being used in a lot of advertisements about like AI agents and AI assistants and workflow automation, as they call it. But the concept is this. So originally asked, how many employees does this guy have? And the answer was three. That's three human employees. The latest buzz word out there originally is AI employees, right? You often see these ads now saying, "Oh yeah, I run my business. I have 25 AI employees." What they mean is that there's an AI agent or an AI assistant tuned to handling your managing your email, your inbox, and scheduling. There's another one that writes your marketing copy and publishes your blogs. There's another one that does, your email deliverability. All of these agents that you create, that's what people are saying when they say, "Oh yeah, you need to leverage AI employees." And so in the next few weeks, we're really going to dive in as to like what are some of these workflow automations that everybody should get into. Now, even before, so if you start digging into this, don't be intimidated by necessarily the AI agent aspect of it. You must start with understanding what workflow automation is, and I'll tell you the secret to it in the next 30 seconds, and then how to create AI assistants that help you perform this workflow automation. So, what enables all of this to happen? What's the magic? The answer is always this. Each system that's out there on the web has the interface that you can log into and do stuff manually, right? But the good ones, and these days it's every single one, also lets you access its API. The API is a programming interface that you, as a human, you don't interact with it. You write programs or use other programs such as Zapier or these connection type things, and you point to your Calendly and you point to your inbox. And the mechanism by which these services talk to each other, it's through what's called the API. And these API endpoints, this is how the automation occurs. And all AI automation is, workflow automation is, let's find out what you do in your business day. Let's identify all the systems that need to pass data back and forth. And let's actually use AI to use that API integration between them all and do it on your behalf. So it's not a complicated thing. It's as simple as that. It's like break down your tasks during the day, see what you do over and over again. And originally, how would you like to not have to, do all the hard work that you do, maintaining your zero inbox, right? Imagine going to your inbox and having a lot of the stuff already dispatched because it's done every single time. You're in there, you're cleaning up spam every day, you're in there, bothering Hubert every day. I mean, a lot of these things can be automated through AI workflows.
Totally. And it was very, very interesting um, how, and this I think really important point, he was saying, I am not a developer. I just know how to talk to the tool. And as we move forward, you won't need to be a developer. You just have to explain into an AI chatbot, could be ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, whatever, what you do, and let the chatbot prompt create an SOP. And from you telling it what you do, this is what I
Mhm.
do, and I want you to create an SOP for this thing. And then you can use another thing called a prompt recipe, basically that creates a self-prompting chat out of the SOP. And then you load that self-prompting chat into an AI automation and now it runs for you.
Exactly. Yes. And so what we're in
And
the
I
process.
know everybody just got that. Everybody's like, wow. No, I'll tell you what happened. Most people, they went, what? What? We'll be explaining that over the next few weeks. Believe
Yeah,
me,
and
it
it's
took me
yes,
5 days to try to understand it.
just as Ridgely had put together the prompt library, Ridgely's private prompt library, we're now gathering all of these like prompt recipes that are now good enough because the AI agents, because the LLMs have evolved to such a degree, they're now good enough that you don't have to sit there and manually, tweak my prompt to an 8 out of a 10, then 8.5, then 9, then 9.5, then finally get to a 10. You don't need to be Ridgely anymore, although, it's nice to be Ridgely. But these AI recipes, these prompt recipes that we're compiling is going to be amazing, and they will make your life a lot easier. So originally, this is slightly aside, but I want to bring this up while we're talking about AI and just mention it to everybody in the chat. So uh, we've now gotten pinged by several people, and I looked in my inbox and I saw it for myself too. Keep an eye out for if you use PayPal or if you use Venmo, look for an email that invites you to try a year of Perplexity Pro as a member of either PayPal or Venmo. It's a legit thing. I did it last year with another marketing partnership, but and this year I signed up again, and you get free. You get a year's trial of Perplexity Pro, as opposed to the free Perplexity, and you just do it by clicking that offer from either PayPal or Venmo. And it's very, very cool. And Ridgely and I have been pinged by a couple of people, including Bridget from this mastermind. It comes with their new browser that's AI based. It's called Comet. I've installed it, but I haven't used it yet. And so Ridgely and I spoke to Lonnie, who's somebody that we really respect. He's built systems for Tony Robbins and so forth, and he's all excited. He says that he doesn't use Chrome or Firefox anymore. He uses Comet, and it's a web browser that has AI built into it. So he's very excited about it, and we'll check it out, and we'll bring you some, do's and don'ts around that. But please watch for the offer from PayPal or Venmo about upgrading to Perplexity Pro free for a year.
All right, man. So before we go into an exercise here, let's talk very briefly about Google finally flexing their muscle in the war to maintain search engine, AI engine dominance. We've been talking about this for a month or 2 months. We've been talking about it's coming. There's no way they can afford to lose this war. They can't allow Grok and ChatGPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek, whatever, to keep stealing market share from their $1 trillion, $3 trillion valuation, right? Just under $3 trillion. They're going to throw everything they can at the machine to try to stop those guys. And they finally flex their muscle. Hubert, you want to share with these guys what they have done? Because everybody on this call has likely seen this in their own usage of the internet, but not paid attention to it nor understood what it means, including my 87-year-old mom, who I was telling about this when I checked in with her. I check in with her at least once a week. And my 87-year-old mom said, "Oh, yeah, that happened to me the other day." They said, "Do you want more? Do you want more?" And then they put up a thing. And the thing is
Right.
what
Yeah.
Hubert's going to explain
Right. Okay.
is
So this
throttling
this
other search engines.
yes, this is a little geeky, but originally I'll explain it in business language, and the reasoning becomes clear. This is just yet another business-driven reason why Google is changing the way it operates. So previous to about 3.5 weeks ago, it used to be that when you or I or a search uh, ranking tool or an LLM would query Google for search results, you would get back 100 results. Okay. That was because by default, when you submitted the query, if you searched Ridgely Goldsboro on Google, it was actually running the search and adding a parameter num equal 100, meaning let's get 10 pages of results in one search and show Ridgely 100 results about him. Okay. So the LLMs love that because they would make requests of Google and they would get 100 pages at a time and they would scrape it and steal the data and put it into their own uh, knowledge base and just cutting Google out of it. Google has had enough. And what they wound up doing 3.5 weeks ago is when you search and when the bots search, you don't get 100 results. Num no longer equals 100. Num equals 10 now. Like the number of results is 10, which means that when you and I do it, okay, we get now instead of 10 pages, you get a page, and then you can go to page two, and then it'll run it again. But the time you get to page three, Google will start asking if you're human, showing you a capture thing that you need to do. But for the bots, it's much worse. They're just shutting the bots out now. You can have 10 results, but if you want more, I'm a little suspicious and I'm going to dial it down. And anyway, originally I'll explain the business reasons behind that. But the upshot of it is that a lot of the LLMs now and a lot of the tools that show you how you're ranking and so forth have had to make major revisions based on the lack of data from Google. Kind of the free ride from Google is over originally for the LLMs, which means that now
Right.
Google's prominence in its own AI search results. I mean, that's what they're saving all their firepower for. Explain the business reasons why Google does things like this. This happened during the summer too, in terms of like de-indexing a whole bunch of pages and something. Like what's going on behind the scenes at Google originally?
So there's two things that are happening here. One is the fact that Google needs more compute power to continue developing AI, right? And it takes enormous compute power to come up with 100 results as opposed to 10 results, right? It does. It takes more compute power to crawl billions of pages as opposed to tens of billions of pages, which they were doing before. And they're taking the compute power that they're saving to move it over into AI. That's the actual logistics of what's going on. However, from a business perspective, think about it. Google's valuation is because they are the 800-pound gorilla. Google still controls today 83% of all organic search traffic and 92% of all paid traffic still run through Google. And that's what got them their valuation. Obviously, if they start losing that traffic to AI engines, then they're losing their market valuation. And what makes it even more ironic is that the AI engines are getting a lot of their data from Google. So Google's like, well, forget you, Pally Wally. We're done with that game. You're not going to steal our data and then steal our search because somebody likes Perplexity and somebody else likes Grok and somebody else likes ChatGPT better than Gemini or YouTube or Google. So both from a logistics perspective of Google needing the power to go and develop AI, and also from the perspective of they don't want their market share, they have throttled all other search engines from being able to do what they were doing as fast as they could. What does that mean to you? As a business owner, it means that the Google related properties are more important than ever. AI overviews, YouTube channel, Gemini, all of those are more important than they ever were. And while this battle is ongoing and they're duking it out, Google is going to continue to do everything they possibly can to maintain their market valuation. Obviously, it's about money. So for those of us who are small businesses, we need to ask ourselves, what can I do? And that brings us to what we're going to talk about today, local marketing. We're going to talk about what can you do with local marketing because that's where AI overviews and a YouTube channel can become super valuable. Obviously, Gemini is the engine, right? Gemini is the AI engine like Grok or ChatGPT. But there are pieces that are informed inside the Google machine, including AI overviews and the uh, and AI overviews and Gemini the engine, and also YouTube. So Hubie, what's the best way for us to approach this? I wanted to like take a because this will apply to everybody and ask yourself the following. what now, given all this new stuff, what can I do to help my clients in local markets still dominate?
So I'm chuckling to myself because Ridgely inadvertently always falls into the trap of not taking his own advice. Because when I ask Ridgely the same question, Ridgely makes a joke of it, and he always says, "Let's ask AI." So Ridgely, let's ask AI. So actually, I,
Okay.
I did this, I did this yesterday, and I'd like you to share your screen and do it too. But these days, folks, we got to change our mindset. The default go-to how to jumpstart a conversation is spin up your local AI engine. There's so many now that are free, right? We love the paid ChatGPT, ChatGPT Plus. Okay, we love it because it loves us, meaning it knows it's trained itself on, when Ridgely shares his, it's gonna know that he's into dental marketing. When he talks about how do we optimize for local businesses, it's going to give examples based on all the history that Ridgely has put into ChatGPT. But my point is this: think of your LLM as one of your employees. Think of it as right now your strategist employee, right? So originally, let's bring up our employee that's into local marketing strategy, and let's find out what the current best practices are for helping our clients have more local visibility in Google and also in AI platforms.
So without using Ridgely prompts, we're just going to talk to the tool.
Yes.
You are, okay, hold on a second. For some reason my keyboard is being a pain.
Now, what Ridgely said is very important because if I see some names that haven't popped up, in a while in our participant list, and if you saw Ridgely do this kind of stuff 6 months ago, it was very much leveraging Ridgely's super prompt, and it's kind of hard to do if you're not Ridgely. But these days, you can see that Ridgely himself goes straight into ChatGPT, and that's because the tool, any of the AI tools, has gotten so good at it that you don't need these like very mega prompt complexity things any longer. So let's watch along with Ridgely. And Ridgely, talk out loud as you do it and tell us what you're thinking as you do things here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say you're an expert local marketer. You found out about recent changes with Google, especially when it comes to SEO, AIO, and search in general. You want to know, based on these changes, what are the top 6 things that you can do to get your client new business? Ask me any questions needed to make this great. And I'm purposely not correcting the typos so you can see that it doesn't matter and you don't waste time. So I purposely didn't ask very much so that it would give me some clarifying questions. And now notice what it says. What kind of local business or clients are you targeting? Dentists? Right out of the
Yeah.
gate, does it
Ridgely,
know?
out of the blue, it asks if you're interested in dentists.
Right? So we'll say, so we're just going to go with that. Uh, Dentists. Target mize. This is single location, occasionally 2 or 3 offices.
Now, before you hit submit, Ridgely, let's just spend 30 seconds and explain to our fellow mastermind members the background behind this. This is actually driven through a real need. You and I had a conversation yesterday, and this wasn't even about AI. The true business need was around, hey, we think we need to do more for our clients. What's going on? We're hearing from some of them that, that they're not accelerating in their new patient development as they should, and so forth. So originally, give us 30 seconds of the real business background behind this. We didn't make this up for the purpose of this demonstration.
Yeah, so I went in and said, okay, let me find out something interesting. What is happening now in the dental industry? Well, guess what? For last year, year over year, dental services are down 20%. Cost per click is up. Leads are $50 to $85 per lead. And based on that, I want to know what can we do to help them? Because if the entire industry is down by 20%, then by definition, our clients, if they're in the mainstream of the averages, meaning if they're an average elite dentist, because we only deal with elite dentists, if they're an average elite dentist, they're probably down 20%. And I had a conversation with one of them this morning who had gone in and done the research over the exact same time period of last year. And guess what they were down, Hubert?
What?
20%. You were on the call, right? So they were down 20%. And they were sitting there saying, wow, that's amazing. You sent me the article, and that's exactly where we are. And I said, that means that we've actually increased the amount of good stuff that's happening to keep you where you were, more or less, when it comes to your advertising and your organic traffic. And what's missing now is the referral piece or whatever. You can start to begin to really pay attention. So now I'm saying, give me a single location, occasionally two or three offices, currently driving leads are SEO, Google Ads, GBP referrals, some social. We want both low cost and budget backed moves, and we want some quick wins and some long term in two different categories. Now, notice I'm just talking to the tool. I'm not prompting with any kind of AI stuff. Voice branding, should it be written in your voice? Client facing can be client facing. Now, yes, I'm used to doing this, so I do this pretty fast, but here we go. I'm just talking to the tool. This is exactly the level of clarity that I need. Here's what I'll deliver next. I'll create a client-facing brief, the 6 smartest moves to get more patients under Google's new AI search era. Directly so you can send it to clients. Quick wins, strategic plays. Why it matters, what to do, expected outcome. Tone. Few quick details to get the tone accurate. Uh, Make the tone personal. Uh, Existing clients primarily, though could work for both clients and prospects. Uh, yes to recent data points. Now notice this is not that different than me using a longer prompt and answering prompt by prompt and getting myself ranked each time. Here we go. Here's what I'll create for you next. The 6 smartest moves to get you more new patients, written in a personal conversational tone, framed around recent data points, quick wins, strategic plays, why it matters, what to do, expected outcomes. One last question. Would you like to mention your agency brand name directly? Yes. Name is Dental Market Dominator. Boom. And now, literally within a matter of seconds, it's going to spit it out. Final confirmation before I write the deliverable. Tone, personal, and conversation. Audience, primarily client, but relevant to prospects. Structure. Do you want this to be professional document style brief or long form email? Document. Notice that I keep getting questions because until the tool is satisfied, since I've told it to ask me questions, it's going to keep asking me questions. Now that it's starting to pulse, it means it's formulating the answer. It's actually going in and doing the work. And that's what happens. It takes a little bit longer to come up with all this as it's pulling from the data that exists on the net, but also exists within my Chat GPT 5 because this is trained on my stuff. So this is taking a little while. It'll come here in just a minute. And in the meantime, I know Hubert's doing something weird in the background.
I am. One of our teaching mechanisms is always compare and contrast. So after Ridgely gets his result, I'll show you, my approach, which is vastly different, and so everybody can pick and choose. Ridgely, it looks like you broke it. Just type in again saying, "I didn't get an answer. Please provide."
There we go. Six smartest moves to get new morning pages under Google's AI search era. The data no one's talking about. Cross patients are down nationwide, 19.6 year over year. And the source. Cost per click, lead cost now, tightening budgets, Google's AI overviews, rewriting visibility, dentists who don't risk adapt, become invisible, etc. Quick wins. Optimize for AI overviews. Wow. Top of the list. Use
Mhm.
clear post patient focused QA language. How much do dental implants cost in? As in frequently asked questions work really well. Oh, there it is. Add frequently asked questions to every service page. Use schema markup for local businesses. Refresh top pages with 2025 data. Number two, supercharge your GBP. Why? Your GBP is now the new home page. I'd not heard that before, Hubert Lee. The new home page. What? Post
Mhm.
weekly photos, short offers, Q&A, etc. Three, launch a trust campaign, referrals, reviews, social proof. Boom. Then you go to obviously all stuff that we're doing. Strategic plays 3 to 6 months. AI optimized content hub. Own the questions patients ask. Integrate AI driven Google ads. Doing that too. Automate lead follow up. Never lose the lead again. This is one of the worst things in dentistry. People don't answer the damn phone and they don't follow up fast enough. There you go. Done. Whole thing.
Nice. Okay. So
Almost all of it we're already doing.
there you go. Okay, good. So now we're gonna compare and contrast, and this is the way Hubert does it. Okay. All right. So I like Ridgely's approach, but it's too hard for me. My pea brain doesn't want to like make all those assumptions. I'm not going to ask it for six things because what if there are seven top things or eight or only four? So you're going to see that I'm purposely giving it. Ridgely said he gave it very little detail, but by comparison, you're going to see that Ridgely wrote War and Peace compared to my prompts. Okay, so I'm in a totally separate ChatGPT account. Okay, so my account and his account or don't know each other, and so this is not influenced by what he just did. Okay, so this is a new chat. I'm leaving it as the default ChatGPT 5. Okay, I'm still going to start with an act as. I know that's kind of old fashioned at this point, but I'm still going to do an act as. Okay, act as what? Act as an uh, SEO. That's a search engine optimization expert. Okay, expert with uh, great skill at ranking dentists' websites on the uh, top of Google search results, AI overviews, and AI platform and AI platforms. Okay, that's who I'm asking it to act as. Then I'm going to say, advise me on how to rank well in these areas with my dentist website. Okay. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to preform anything about like I'm not going to ask it to ask me questions or anything. Okay. I just wanted to kind of have a blue sky and let it think. Okay. So it's going to do searching and then you're going to see that it's going to do thinking too. Okay. If you want your dentist website to dominate in Google and in the AI overview environment, you need a multi-pronged strategy. So let's see if this correlates to what Ridgely got. Okay. Below is a roadmap combining traditional SEO best practices and future proofing for AI. Okay. Now, right away, I know that it knows what it's doing because I've done a lot of research on this, and I agree with the SEO experts that say you cannot rank well for AI if you don't rank well for traditional search. Okay, people think you can, but you can't. There's no magic AI bullets. You need to do your normal SEO, and then you need to tweak it for AI. Okay. You can use this as a framework and tailor it to your market budgeting and resources. Okay, great. Core foundations, technical on-page, local. Okay. Ensure that your site is mobile friendly, speed site, fix crawling errors, logical site structure, use SSL, proper indexing, mark schema markup, clean URL structure. Okay, so this is a list of best practices for website type stuff. Now, this is more technical than what originally got, and that's because my ChatGPT knows that I'm asking it technical questions all the time. Okay, so it knows kind of my skill level and what I'm looking for. Okay, these practices are standard SEO fundamentals. Google's own SEO starter guide is a good basic reference, blah blah blah, whatever. Okay, keyword strategy and planning. Okay, so now it's walking through like how to do the actual SEO. Okay, now on-page optimization of each page, use the headings and all of this stuff. So originally you see that this is stuff that we already do, right? Okay, now local SEO, critical. And again, this is matching up with what I told originally. Make sure you get the GBP straightened out. Encourage and manage patient reviews in a timely and professional manner. I don't think this was actually brought up in your response originally, so this
Mhm.
is a good one. Okay. Ensure consistency of your NAP. NAP is the name, address, phone. Okay. That's how, and the reason why is because Google understands your business as what they call an entity. And a sign of an entity is when it's consistently referred to with the same name, the same address, and the same phone. Believe it or not, a lot of businesses, are sloppy about how they use their name and address and so forth. Okay, but you need to be very rigorous in this. List your practice in relevant local and healthcare directories, blah blah blah, whatever. Okay. Now backlinks, off-page authority, that's great. Content strategy in the age of AI overviews. Okay, so snippets and all of this. Okay. Now there's a section originally on how to optimize for AI overviews, generative search. Okay. Answer questions. This is getting to what Ridgely's thing was with the frequently asked questions. Use structured answers. Now, interestingly, Ridgely, my output is much more in depth while my input was much less than yours.
Mhm. Now, do you think that's because of the prompt or
So, and it's a
because
technique.
you
When
you
ChatGPT
are
doesn't know
much more technical?
exactly, yes,
So,
that's true, but also ChatGPT is trying to give me more because I asked for less and it wants to make sure like everything is covered, right? So
mm,
when you play dumb, you oftentimes actually get more. Okay?
which
So
could be good or bad, depending, because the information overload is no joke.
yes, right. But for me, I'm always like, give me more because I'm looking for those edge cases of the things that I don't do. Okay. So now I'm just going to go all the way to the bottom and I'm going to say, I have SEO pretty well dialed in. Please give me additional um, AI optimization points that I may have missed with my traditional approach to SEO. Okay. So now I'm telling it that, okay, I got the basics covered, but I'm looking for specifically the AI overview strategies. Okay. So now this is what it's doing. It's going out. And by the way, folks, this is what ChatGPT used to. Oh, look at that. I broke it too. Um, this is what ChatGPT used to be not as good at as Perplexity, right? Perplexity's big thing was let's go out and look at the current data and bring it back in. Now ChatGPT does that as well. And perfect, blah blah blah, optimized for AI comprehension, not just crawling. And it explains what the differences are, right? And so here's like actual advice for me when I write my blog posts, little FAQ mini blocks, blah blah blah, whatever. Include how, what, can I, should I, blah blah blah, in terms of questions. What's the difference between how long, blah blah blah? Can seniors get implants? Is it painful? This is gold right here. AI systems often extract multi-question summaries. If you answer follow-ups in line, you dominate entire summaries, right? So focus your content on questions and answers. Okay, and on and on and on. Okay. And so these days, the robustness of these answers are incredible. You just have to keep going and going and going. The main difference I would characterize between my approach and Ridgely's approach is that I'm doing multi-step queries. My queries each time stop at a certain point. My first one was about how do I rank well in SEO and AI platforms. My second one was, okay, I got SEO covered, but give me things I may not have thought about in terms of AI and so forth. So, I'm always trying to give it less and leading it. And I want more output actually from the engine that I can go and parse through on my own, as opposed to like the quick deliverable. And so it's just differences in the way Ridgely and I think, differences in the way we use the input and the output. And that's why it's very key to do this in partnership with somebody else that you know and trust in your business, or a fellow mastermind member. And that's why, the sharing these types of approaches is really, really key. So I hope that was helpful for people originally.
Yeah, man. And which pieces of this could you take and convert into an agent?
Well, so practically all of it, because like, for example, let me share my screen again. Okay. All right. So, okay. So I'm going to go down over here. Okay. I'm going to say here, I want to add FAQs to all my uh, dental service pages. Please explain step by step how I can create, how I can leverage AI assistants or AI agents to help me get these FAQs done on my pages as soon as possible. So the idea is that, let's say we got 100 ideas on the above. Don't ask it, how do I implement those 100 ideas? Choose one, right? One of the ideas was adding FAQs to the pages. I'm choosing one and I'm asking it, explain step by step how to do it. And so you submit that one. And again, you're in for the long haul. This is answer number one out of 100. And this is going to, have all kinds of stuff. See how it says thinking? That's very, very cool. Don't hit skip. You want to see how ChatGPT 5 is thinking. Okay. It's very helpful to see the thought process. Okay, right here. Okay. So do not turn off skip. You wanted to see right here because it's going to spur ideas for you. It's like when you work with a coworker and they like to think out loud. You'll learn more by listening to them think out loud than, sit in the corner and then come back with results, right? Now it's optimizing the AI overview, which was my primary interest. So now I'm feeling good because it's actually thinking through and going from one to the other. The technology behind this is called a multi-query fan out, right? So it's fanning through all the associated ideas, getting all these subqueries answered, and it's bringing it back and synthesizing it. Okay. ChatGPT 5 is a pretty awesome tool. Okay. Now, everybody else has their favorites and they're all good. Okay. So, all right. Awesome. Since your traditional SEO is solid, here's a fast, repeatable way to use AI agents or assistants to plan, draft, review, schema wrap, and publish FAQs to every service page at scale, right? Step by step. So, again, you have to decide what to do. You as an expert, you know your own niche. How many FAQs per topic would be appropriate for your audience, right? And then it like to what reading level your audience should be. These are things that you have to decide as a business owner, right? So it's telling you to go and create an inventory and all of this stuff. Build a tiny FAQ agent squad. That's cute. Use one assistant with tools or skills or run them as separate prompts. Minimal stack works great, blah, 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 whatever. So these are the different employees. So now I have an agent originally that goes and does researching. Now I have another one that writes a draft. Now I have another one that, looks through and and is an editor. Now I have another one that does the schema. Now I have another one that actually goes and publishes it, right? And see this agent type of approach? And now here are the actual prompts for each of these things. And I would actually go and build these things. It's beyond the, 2 minutes left that we have in our call to actually go through this. But this is the kind of stuff that we're going to actually walk everybody through in our new season of the Mastermind. And then here's different ways to get these things published. You can use WordPress and all of this stuff. You can, program it if you want, but originally what's most important to you and I is how to make it all AI friendly, right? And then there's the Q&A and all of this and set and forget, but better ongoing improvement loop. You can program these things to make it get better and better and better so that it's self-learning. So anyway, there's a whole wealth of stuff here and we can keep going for hours and so forth, but originally we're getting near the end of this call.
Yeah. So I hope everybody's getting kind of a sense of where we're going here. It's not about how much you know, it's about how well can you deploy your AI troops. And we're going to spend a lot more time on that over the next few months, literally getting to that place where your team members are going to be those who understand how to deploy these troops, how to use this tool so that they cut down on their own repetitive workloads in favor of thought, strategic thinking, future casting, looking ahead, and very important, education, staying educated, because this is moving so fast that we really, really have to, like what many people just heard today was like, wow. Here's what I want to share with you. I'm getting one of those moments every few weeks. Like, what?
Right.
Wow. What? Wow. It's almost like we got to start getting used to the wow factor of AI to understand that it's just a tool that is much more powerful than anything that you've ever seen before. And it really can make a huge difference in your business. All right. So I am headed overseas as I do twice a year to Mexico next week. So we will not have a mastermind meeting. The following one will be on Thursday, 23rd at noon Eastern. Thursday, 23rd, noon Eastern. Write that down. Thursday, 23rd, noon Eastern. And we will have another one at the end of the month. So we'll still have four during the month for now. And Hubert, go ahead, man. I know you got something. I know you.
Yes, I do have a closing joke, but let me mention a couple of things in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the chat. Fede, my man, good to see you here. He mentions to everybody to activate thinking mode. I had to select it from the top left arrow next to ChatGPT 5. Okay, so if you don't have thinking mode on, please do turn it on. Bridget gave us some hearts. Thank you for that, Bridget. And before you joined, I passed along, your shout out to us about how PayPal and in my case, it was from Venmo, but there's the Perplexity Pro offer, and it's totally legit. I did it last year with another company, and it worked really well. So everybody, thank Bridget for calling out the free upgrade to Perplexity Pro. Look for it in your emails from either Venmo or PayPal. Bill, good to see you. Fantastic stuff. Thanks very much. Annalisa, thank you for your shout out earlier. It's great to see you. And thank you so much. And Bridget calls out, and the new comment browser. Yes, we talked about that as well. Please give it a try. And Bridget, report back in 2 weeks as to how you're using Comet. We've had some, really good feedback from some people, but we haven't tried it ourselves yet. Okay, so originally I have a closing question for you, a joke. What do sea monsters eat for lunch? What do sea monsters eat for lunch? Come on,
Uh,
you're down in Florida. You're down by the water. Fish
Seaweed.
and yes, fish and chips.
Fish and chips. Oh my God, that's terrible.
All right,
Okay.
here's a bonus. Here's a bonus. Why was the horse so happy?
Why, Hubert?
Because he lived in a stable environment.
Forget about it. All right, people. Love you all. See you in a bit. He'll be 15 minutes from now. Does that work?
Sure, great. And one last read from the chat. Kurt, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you, Ridgely and Hubert. Valuable as always. Thanks for living on the leading edge of technology. Our
That's
pleasure, Kurt.
us.
We'll see you next time.
All right, man. See you in 15.
Okay,
Thanks.
bye-bye.
Bye.